Hey!
Hello!
Hello! Oh, Buddy jumped up just in time. Perfect.
Hey, bud
Our
dog.
viewership just went.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to Literarily Wasted. It's our first discussion for V.E. Schwab's The Darker Shade of Magic. Yeah, so I might have flashed y'all my desktop background during that countdown video. So if you saw the Ghostbusters logo, that's what that was.
Oh,
Call me out.
Oh, nice.
When I switched from Adobe Premiere, which was playing the countdown video, to this, it showed you my desktop background. I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I'm not sorry. It's
and
subliminal.
if they don't know who you are, who are you?
My name is Adam.
I'm Christy. Ooh.
I'm
Christy.
Talia.
Yeah.
I am Lucas. And that's Bud Dog licking.
And Bud Dog's back here. There he is. He's Bud Dog. Come on. You're on TV.
Focus.
Okay.
So tonight we are talking about the first half of A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab up to chapter 9.
Yes.
And for those who read past that, which a bunch of y'all did, could you maybe give us not necessarily a brief synopsis, but just tell us the last couple of pivotal moments so that people know not to discuss past that point?
Yeah, absolutely. So the very, very last thing to happen was Baron got his throat slit by Holland. Yeah. Might need a little more information on that to avoid spoilers. So Kel and Lila attempted to travel. Kel took her along, or tried to take her along, even though he didn't think it was going to work, and it
Apparently it did.
did, maybe, question mark? So
I mean, we don't know, but they did.
Yeah.
She was holding on to that rock. And they went through the wall.
kind of seems like it might have happened. Holland is after them. He tried to kill Kel by like draining him of blood in the most disturbing, creepy way.
Yeah.
And Lila saved him.
Right.
So Lila and Kel have this saving each other thing going on, which is kind of interesting. But that's pretty much where we're at. There's this magic black stone that
Seems to be from Black London.
maybe
Yeah.
from Black London, yeah.
Mm.
That's happening. There's like a black sword in Grey London that Lila made out of the stone that is doing something.
It inhabited
weird.
some drunk guy.
Yeah. It like forced him to stab himself.
So there are 3 unaccounted for Black London magicnesses, right? So there's the dude that got stabbed in the gut. There's the bad guy with the X on his hand. And then the chains that were holding down Holland, we don't know what happened to them. So they could have gotten absorbed into Holland, or they might just be like hanging out in Grey London somewhere. We have not yet been informed. And that stuff is super creepy to me. Not a fan of a fan of the venom. Nope.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I thought of it too.
It's like, I got like a Venom/Lost vibe with the black smoke.
Oh, I haven't
I
seen
thought-
We haven't seen Lost.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
What do you
Someone
doing?
spoiled the premise for us, like right when we were like, "Hey, maybe we should." Oh.
And then they told us, they were like, "Hey," the whole time, and we were like,
Oh.
Oh.
Cool,
So-
but no.
so we didn't.
So should we like jump right into this discussion? We got some people who are chiming in on
We should probably say hi to some folks.
how they feel. Oh, hi everybody.
I put too much rum in my juice. So sorry.
Did you put Sarah up there because she has a picture of her dog?
Where?
Right in the one.
Oh, yeah. Hey, yeah. And because she's loving this book so far. Well, hey, Sarah.
As I was going to say, spoiler alert, if you have a dog in your profile picture, Adam's probably more likely to float your comment up on the screen.
That's true.
Gotcha.
He has
because he's totally susceptible to that.
Leigh Ann is here from the start. She says she didn't have a night thought. So Leigh Ann is here. And she says, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. That's true. Hey, Dan. Hey, Kelsey. Hey, Cat Moss on YouTube. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Kate on YouTube. Hey, Nicole.
Fitz, Trish,
Jody, Mike,
Joe, Adam, Nicole, Jenny, Sarah,
Kathy. Everybody's here.
Bear.
Did you invite a new friend for this book? That's what I want to know. This is
Megan
a great
Cooper.
book. I think this is a great book to introduce people. If they haven't found us, I'm not to get too ahead, but I'm enjoying it.
Oh, you want to jump right into what we're feeling about it?
Hi, Megan Cooper. Megan, this is her first time back since October. She said, shaking my head.
Megan, welcome back.
Your head.
Welcome back, Megan. Slapped my hand.
Slap my what?
I always think it slapped my hand. I don't know why.
I don't
know the internet.
Mud Dog, you got to chill out over there, man. You're stealing the show.
Hello, everybody. So do we want to?
Yeah, let's like initial impressions before we get into like the
nitty gritty
deeps
first half.
Deep stuff.
The deeps.
I thought you said the deeps.
Lucas, you were starting.
Yeah. So we've already read one of her books. So this is probably the first book that I've read of the second author. The
second book.
Second book of the same author. Thank you. So I liked Vicious. I felt that I'm backing up a little bit. My one complaint with Vicious is it was so plot focused that you missed out on a lot of the world. And I feel like this one's a much better balance. I feel like it's extremely well written. I can see it playing out like a movie. I don't know, Adam, you can maybe talk to that too, but to me it's got the pacing of like a Wool, but a little bit more of the world building that I missed in Vicious. But I'm really enjoying it. I think the pacing of it, and again the writing, she throws in those little like hints of characters or places and doesn't really give you enough information, but it makes you want to know more. And I really appreciate that, where you're like, ooh, what is that? I want to find out. And so I am listening to the audio book. I don't know who the narrator is, but he at times kind of reminds me of reminds me of like Mr. Grinch. Who's that? Yeah, no, I mean, he's got a very classic British. Anyway, it's very good. But no, I'm really excited. I know so many of you have already read past the halfway point and have pulled a Talia and are on book 2 and 3, or already done or read it already. So.
I stopped at the midway point because
you started
I'm a
yesterday.
spoiler, and I started reading it yesterday.
So yes, that's my take. I'm really vested in this, and I really like the world, and I think she's done a really great job pulling me into the story, and I like the characters, making me care about the characters.
Can I go now?
You can go.
Yeah. So the lack of world building wasn't an issue for me in Vicious, just because I think we were coming out of Night Circus. Not coming straight out of... Were we coming straight out of Night Circus? I think so. Look at the order.
That was a long time ago.
Yes, we were. We were coming straight out of Night Circus, which was so much world and zero plot. So that didn't bother me. Also, it felt like, to me, I thought it was set in the real world, like normal, whatever. So I didn't need details because our real world is like here and not great. So anyways,
Gray London.
Yes. I will admit I was kind of worried because I really enjoyed Vicious, and even more so
I just want to see the pictures.
I actually enjoyed Vengeful more than Vicious. So I just assumed that I really was going to like this, but I was also kind of worried that it was going to be very similar, and it's not. So huge relief. Love that they feel like two very different flavors of books. I really had trouble paying attention though until I got to part 4. I'm not gonna lie. Until he went to the White Throne, like I had trouble focusing. It wasn't really roping me in. I was like, oh, this is cool, this is interesting, but I kept like playing Scrabble on my phone and like checking my email. And was kind of like, oh, I'm not gonna like this as much. And then I got into part 4, and then it kept going, and now I'm super sucked in. And don't get me wrong, these discussions are the highlight of my month every single month. And I love talking to y'all, but also I can't wait until it's over so I can keep reading.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I mean, she did. She threw you right into the story without anything. There was no once upon a time.
Well, I have a
setup.
ton of questions, so I'm very interested in what's going on, but I feel like she's going to answer them. She's not the kind of author that just like makes everything super mysterious and then you have no freaking clue. Like, it's very intentionally mysterious, and I know I'm going to find out later, and I'm super into that. And I'm done.
Well, Natalia, you said you're excited for this live discussion to be over so you can go read. And I feel like a lot of people felt that way. And, well, no, it's fine. But like also, we picked a really good stopping place for this book.
Oh, yeah.
You did. You picked it.
Totally pants. But yeah, it was painful to stop.
Yep.
It was.
And Adam, you kind of felt the same way as Talia at the beginning of the book, right?
You are right. I also had a hard time paying attention. I wanted to pay attention, but I have this disorder where whenever I try to read, I fall asleep. So,
Lucas has trouble with watching movies.
It's because you read in bed.
But that happened. But the way I described like the pacing of this book is like a roller coaster. Like it like chugged uphill for like several chapters. Like he's in Red London, he's in Gray, he's going to Grey London. You can see his little room in the tavern, and now he's back in White London, and White London. Oh god, and then it just like just got going, and it was like action packed, and all of a sudden things are happening, people are dying, and like zombies, and then like yeah. So
and we haven't hit the bottom yet. We are still getting thrown down.
It's probably gonna be like now you're riding like the Superman, and that's at Six Flags over Georgia.
Superman.
Rachel, I want to speak to that in a minute. Remind me, please. Thank you for that.
So it got me. It like grabbed on. Like I was like, yeah, okay. And then like as soon as I hit like probably the same place you did when he was in White London, and the weird royals are like making Holland slice itself open, and you're just like, what? Then I was like, ooh, I'm into it. And now I'm into it. Like, I'm ready to read some more. Comparing this to Vicious, I see my own like brain likes to make connections. So I'm like, this duality thing that exists both in A Darker Shade of Magic and in Vicious, where in Vicious you had Victor and Eli, and now we have Kel and Holland. And it's sort of the same, like, we're cut from the same cloth. We're not so different, you and I. Like, that kind of stuff.
We are different.
But they are. Kel smells like flowers, and Holland smells like metal and blood.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Can I interject super quickly and just say that's what I took a picture of? My favorite line in the entire first half of this book thus far is, "He smells like flowers," she thought absently as she dragged his body across the floor. Yeah. I died. I loved it.
Red London smells like flowers. White London smells like metal and blood and like dirt or something. But overall impressions, so that we can start getting to there. Christy can tell you what she thought. I'm into it. I like this, and this is. I think it might be one of my more favorite ones. And I said that last month, so we're like on a roll.
Yeah. Go,
Christy.
Well, for me, I've read the whole trilogy before. It was a couple of years ago, but I loved it. Clearly. And I am really enjoying a second read. It's really making me appreciate just her writing and the way she describes things and the way she hints at things. And I don't know, I'm really enjoying it. But don't worry, no spoilers. I'm going to pretend like I'm just stopped at chapter 9.
She's really good at doing that.
I will say though, are you catching things though on the second read that you missed the first time?
Not really, but I am appreciating it a whole lot more, I think. And I loved it the first go around. So
also, you don't strike me as the type of person that misses things when you read, but that's okay.
I do.
So where to
go back? I'd like to go back to that one comment about Lila
Rachel?
with magic. Yes.
Yes. Because
that's a great insight.
Sorry, was that me? Because it has been bugging me ever since. What is the very first thing So first off, yes, she says this great line. He smells like flowers after she clonked him with a book. Love it, by the way. They're a great weapon. And then she ties him to the bed and just waits. And he wakes up, and instead of being like, "You've tied me to a bed," or "Where am I?" or "What's happening?" Or is it before that? I don't know the exact moment. He's just like, "Your eyes are two different color,
I love
like two different shades of brown."
Yeah.
So one, is that like a cute little romantic like hint where he was like, "I was looking at her eyes," or is it telling that they're not the same color? Because that's obviously a huge thing in this book, that like that the magic affects the shade of your eyes. So why aren't her eyeballs the same color? How come she can smell these things? How come he mentioned, he was like, she saw like the rune or the remnant, the mark on the wall when he walked in, and she shouldn't have been able to sense that or to see that. Like,
she's got a magic eye.
Lila, where did you come from? Like,
one of her eyes is a darker shade of magic.
Like, what is this connection? Like, I know we're gonna find something out about her history, and I can't wait. I do hope it is in the
Was she an
first
orphan?
book.
Did I make that up?
I don't think they even talked about her family.
Yeah, I'm sure they've talked about it.
They didn't talk about his either. So, like, I want to know the things. I hope they're not related. What?
They did talk about his past, or the fact that he can't remember anything before the age of 5, but that's all we got.
He's got a thingy. Sorry.
Yeah, the
Yes,
forbidden magic.
She almost recreated it at one point. So did you get that joke? Do we want to start like on a more macro scale and just talk about like the world? Because this is what you were talking about. You're like, I'm into the world. Like that's the reason why we differed, and then I was like, I feel like it's kind of slow at the beginning, and I'm having a hard time focusing. But she was like, I just love the world.
I love the different Londons and like seeing all of what makes them different, and seeing Kel see them. Like he appreciates Grey London, which is the boring London, which in Elila's opinion, and
that's our London.
Yeah, but there's no magic.
Don't you talk about my London.
But everything is so on purpose and pretty permanent compared to like Red London and White London. And I just really appreciated that.
It took me quite a few parts, though. I don't want to call them chapters since each thing's divided up into multiple chapters, but it took me a few parts before I even figured out which London was which, though. Like in the beginning, I was like, because it took me a few times before I was like, oh, there's the difference between transferring and traveling, and which was very confusing because I only read the very, very first tiny chapter.
Wrong one.
I only read the first tiny chapter before I posted the reminder that said, turn your code inside out and transfer into our live discussion. And then I kept reading and he said travel. And I was like, oh my God, Dad, you're wrong. Like, so I couldn't figure out if he was in White London and then in Grey London until we actually went to White London. And then I was like, oh, that was all Grey London.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had that problem.
I thought he was going from Grey London to Red London, but turns out he was going from one part in Grey London to another part in Grey London.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like,
that took me a minute.
That happened a lot of times. And I also thought that, like, for some reason, before I really understood what Black London is, what is he doing?
Ignore him.
I was like, y'all both just went.
Bailey's going behind the.
There's a lot of dirt out there. Before I really understood what Black London was, when he found a toy. That the woman who gave him the rock and the letter to deliver, I thought he had to deliver the letter to Black London. I thought we were going to Black London. And then I realized like later on that he had to go to Red London.
I kind of missed that whole transaction.
She didn't say which London, so I didn't know if he was going straight to Grey or
That was my problem.
He was in White London, and she was wanting him to take it back to his London.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of missed that whole transaction, and I was like, I didn't even
know
where to go back to, and I was like, okay, he had another transaction. I just took it for what it was and moved on.
But we have the multiverse present here.
Yeah. Well, really quick, let's talk about the descriptions of the Londons. Like, Kel's the one who came up with the names, the colors. So it was gray for the magicless city, red for the healthy empire, and white for the starving world. But what I found hilarious was when Lila gave her impressions. There's a dull London, Kell London, creepy London, and dead London. And I think that's just spot on.
Yep. That was great.
Yeah, Julie, that was a good
Yes,
point.
that's literally what I was about to say. That's why I brought the book up. I love that. Like, it's something so unique because most of the multiverse things that we see in movies, pop culture, whatever, you know, they're just all like interplanetary, whatever. You just go from one to one. And this you have to go through. Like, if you want to get to each London, you have to go through the subsequent Londons. And I was like, man, that makes things so much more complicated, which makes it interesting.
And the fact that, like, not only are they stacked on top of each other, but it's also like some proximity towards some like magical like
source,
purity or something like
Thames, right?
Well, the river flows.
The river
magical.
flows. Yeah.
Like there,
But, like,
I love that
there's some sort of like magical sun at the center of the solar system, and like, you know, then you've got
Well, and how messed up is it that when Black London was being consumed by magic, it was Red London who decided to close their doors, and they basically cut Grey London off from magic, and then they cut White London off. Yeah, to deal with all of that. And
like,
sure, White London is messed up, and we've seen some terrible things there already, but like, it's kind of might be a lot of Red London's fault.
Yeah.
So here's
and Red London seems to have benefited the best out of all of them.
So my favorite thing about that, though, is that she didn't introduce those facts until later. I think my favorite thing about her writing style thus far is she's introducing us to people and places in a very specific order. So we're starting to associate, like, oh, we like Kell and we connect with him, and with Lila, and we associate Red London with like this. That's where it's vibrant and magic's alive, and you want to see that as the positive. And then she doesn't tell you what they did until later, and you've already made an emotional connection. And so you start to make all these emotional connections, and then later she's like, oh, well, this is part of the past, this is part of its history, and you're like, ew, no.
Well, and Vicky's suggestion that there might be a world beyond Black London that was already cut off, that's a really interesting idea.
Blue London.
Aww.
Well, everyone in the comments is saying that the Tootsie Roll is at the center of everything.
I do like Tootsie Pops.
How many Londons does it take
There
to
you
get
go.
center?
Mr. Owl. But I think that's really interesting how, like, if you overlay each map on top of each other, if you lay each map on top of each other, like, everything's different, but there are key elements that are the same in every single city, like this river, this tavern, like the key places where magic is drawn to, and that's the same in every city. And I think that's super
it makes me super excited to see what Black London is.
Oh, yeah,
if we get there, like it's kind of like it's like finally getting to Mordor or something like that, you know. And finally.
I think there's no way that, I know they all just like shut their brains off and they were like, yeah, they burnt themselves out and it's just empty. I don't think so. I think it kept going in a very twisted way that we don't expect, and I can't wait to figure out what it is.
It's Thanos.
There's still
It's Thanos.
It's Thanos.
Called it.
No, get out.
Called it. Done. All right. Good discussion, guys.
Yeah, it's all Marvel connected.
Clearly.
And like magic itself, I think we need to talk about in this book, because we've read some books now that have dealt with magic, like The Magicians, The Magicians.
Yes.
Or
but,
Lord Toby.
Don't ever say that.
Dark Lord Toby.
Lord
Toby.
And so like in The Magicians, magic was this like clinical, like, you know, academic
Dr. Strange
practice.
study. Yeah.
In this book, it is blood. It's in your blood. Like, that's blood magic. And like, you know, I'm surprised that Christy can get through this book.
Oh my gosh, it was close sometimes.
Because of her thing with blood. But like, for him to have to like travel from world, he's got to slice his hand open every time. Granted, he heals kind of like Wolverine, but
that's not the part that got me. The part that almost got me was when Kell was with the twins in White London, and they want him to fill up his goblet with blood. And the part where he's like, no, I don't have all day, cut deeper. And I was almost noped out of it.
But like, there's a lot of, you know, you know that like they're drinking Holland's blood because he's an Antari. He's got magic in his blood,
Yeah.
And because they're twisted and messed
that
up.
yeah, but
They are
the
messed
fact
up.
that, like, you know, Holland drains Kel of his blood. There's a sword that if it cuts you, it like cuts off your magic powers.
Mhm.
That was used against Kel. Like just the whole practice of magic and like how he describes what it feels like to use magic is like I welcome that, especially after reading The Magicians, where they didn't really go into that at all. And like we didn't even hear any of the magic words in The Magicians. They just said like I said a thing and then it happened. But here
Exactly.
we're getting like language is involved, blood is involved.
But I also like that to some degree, some of the magic, the language doesn't matter. The intention matters. I appreciated that.
Yeah. Well, but we also have the magic in this world that isn't quite blood related. Because, I mean, Rye.
It's Vitari? Is that it?
Yeah.
Isn't that the word for magic?
Antari?
No, Antari is what they are. Vitari is the like what magic is. It's the black stone, and it's doing its own thing with no blood.
But beyond that, there's also the magic of just Red London, because clearly, like, it's just Kel that's the Antari, but then Rice was able to do the flame, but without blood. So it looks like there might be different levels.
Well, even he was talking about like there's elemental magic, which isn't, you know, like that's sort of like a basic, like oh yeah, any sort of novice can make wind.
Oh yeah, no, that was a cool. No, that was a fun little part that. So he's basically like he's taking a kid's toy, as he describes it, and like, you know, pawning it off or trading it for a music box, something unique. I mean, it reminded me of. I mean, this is a bad comparison, but remember those little 9-tile slide box toys, like plastic things that would make a picture? It reminded me of, like, he's taking something like that. It's like, yeah, man. But I thought that was really cool to test your affluency, your
affinity.
Affinity, thank you. With magic is how can you manipulate these elements, right?
I think there's there's elemental magic, and then there's blood magic, and then we're now introduced to Vitari. We don't understand, and we don't understand it. It is what I liked what Lila said. She said it's clever magic, which is so much more dangerous than bad magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that it's like uncontained is interesting. Like this is magic, like, you know, Kel, when he sees the zombie man coming towards him, it just says surrender over and over again. Like he's like, oh, this is a magic that I know of, but is like forbidden for us to use. Like this definitely didn't come from where I'm used to.
Well, and we also have in White London in particular the runes that they carve into their skin, which is something a little different, maybe.
And creepy and gross
the bindings,
and
right?
horrible. Yeah.
That's a soul binding, right?
Yeah,
Holland got
the
Holland.
soul.
Holland.
Like they said it was on his chest and went all the way through to his back. Like,
yes.
No, thank you.
Yeah, and that's why he's bound to the Wonder Twins.
Yeah. Well, in Athos, it said he has a penchant and prowess for binding spells, marks that stripped away a person's freedom, their identity, and their soul.
Well, there was that whole chapter where they did that to that boy they captured or whatever.
Like the one who wouldn't bow.
Yeah, like they took him from his mom and then like bound him, and he was like, but I'm gonna let you keep your mind. So
he bound only his body, and that's super malicious, and I hate them. They're bad.
Well, whoever rules there is basically the most
whoever's the meanest.
Bloodthirsty, yeah. I mean,
it's the strongest in magic.
Strongest, yeah.
I'm gonna say the meanest. Whoever's the meanest. You have to be mean. They suck.
I think you
White
probably
London,
need to be mean to survive in White London. White London seems a little bit cutthroat.
White London is the mirror universe in Star Trek.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Adam.
Okay.
We just need to get a Cyclops reference in.
Yes.
And we'll be
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Just give it time.
Yeah. Cyclops uses blood magic.
There you go.
Blood bending. That's interesting.
What?
This
Oh.
comment, Katie's comment.
Oh, I'm not familiar with Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Neither am I, but
At
bloodbending,
all.
I mean, I could totally see that as what's happening here.
Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, because he said that, right? So, oh no, I'm thinking of bone magic. Oh, nope. Stop. No, but he's saying that's terrifying though, because, right?
That's a good
You
one,
can
Jeff.
control water, you can control air. Like, these are all the elemental magics, but bone magic is scary because, like, I can make, hey, hit yourself in the face. Bone magic. I did it.
Good job.
Thank you. He SMH.
Yeah.
Ha
Slap
ha
my
ha
hand.
ha.
Ha, 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 ha.
Sorry.
Callback. But yeah, the different types of magic, how you can basically like control people with magic, and how like some Londons are like that's not okay, and other Londons are like that's totally okay. But like
We have no rules here.
we have to answer this question real quick because the zombie thing, because I know Talia doesn't like zombies. So they zombied that one guy, the guy that got frozen, and then the magic absorbed into him and he zombied. Did he do anything to the guy who died?
No, because he's already dead. There was no spark of life for the magic to cling to and feed on.
So he didn't like eat him or
So
anything.
there has to be a spark of life. No, he's not a real zombie. It actually made me think of, I don't know if anyone's out there, this is no spoilers, if any of y'all watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show, and there is, if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. That's what I envisioned with things like the monolith and the hive and people who were exposed
Are you talking
and
about
having all that magic like
Inhumans?
absorbed. Yeah, the Inhumans. That's what it made me think of, like having that like absorbed into your body, and like
That's how Daisy got her powers.
but like it was torn. There was like references to the monolith and the Inhumans, but also like the hive. It made me think of that too. Anyways, I'm sorry.
This one?
Yeah, that one about it.
So,
Mike,
so
come on.
No, get out of here.
Come on, Mike.
What were
What were you
you
going to say, Lucas?
So I forget who was talking about it, but someone had brought up the smells of the magic and what does and I thought it would be kind of funny. I think they were talking specifically what does Black London smell like, but so everyone obviously there's a scent, right? And like because she could start, Lila could start to pick up on the scent, and she's like, oh, I could smell it now that I know. And the rain was kind of washing that scent away, so they're being masked
She was
again.
hoping so.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Know that.
so Talia, what would your two magical scents be?
Cheesy
Well,
garlic bread.
Pizza,
Pizza.
Wait, that was
It wasn't their scent, it was the scent of their cities.
the land.
of
Yeah.
London.
Oh, is
yeah.
it the scent of their
It's-
cities?
No, London.
Yeah.
So Red London smells
I
of
was-
nature and
I was kind of
Well,
hoping it was
I know.
their own
Red-
scent. I want
Red
pizza
London-
too, Adam.
Red London is roses, gray London is smoke, and white London is blood.
Oh, see, I missed that.
well, it's funny. That's why she says he smells like flowers. Because anytime he would travel, people would name different flowers that they
Yeah.
reminded him of. Or Baron, right before he was murdered by Meatybutt Holland,
up.
said that Kel always smelled to him of like clean grass, and like that's how he interpreted it. And that Holland smelled like metal or something.
Metal of blood, and then there was nothing. Bye-bye, Baron.
Yeah.
I liked
Guys,
Baron.
can we talk about Rye? He reminds me of every guy I knew in college. So
Hey, but they did say, okay, I think a lot of Rye is a front, because yes, he is a spoiled prince. But Kel does say that underneath, like inherently, that there's something good in him.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's that whole sketch scene where Holland's leaving, and he basically it's
we don't know
illegal
what's
to.
He didn't. It's not from another city. He said it wasn't. He said he bought it there in Red London.
No. Like he basically made the guard forget that he was even there, which is illegal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that
so-
was on Holland. We don't know that.
I know,
Rye
but
did
like
because
I
Rye
don't.
told Kel that he was there.
Yeah, but that's.
Oh, it's definitely sketched,
It's
but
sketched.
I'm not giving up hope on Rye yet. I do feel like Rye cares about Kel.
Well, yeah, but they also grew up together as brothers.
yeah,
The king seems like a douchebag though. Like for real, he's like, "Oh, you're my adopted son, but here, go to the most dangerous London ever with the psycho twins and give them this letter. Thanks,
Yeah.
kiddo.
I really want to
Well-
know what the letters say.
I mean, I think that we got a taste of that in Greyland, and it's just
Hello, how are you?
monarchs talking to each other. Yeah, it's just to keep up a correspondence. I'd be
That's not worth
surprised
it.
if there was anything
No.
serious in it.
No, I'm sorry. I would figure out how to magic a mail slot and poke it through and then be like, I did it. Bye. I'm not going in there. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Well, I'm interested to see more of Kel's relationship with his family, adopted family, because it seems like he definitely has a job in the family instead of just being a part of the family.
Well, and that's where they're going, supposedly, right? Is she knows, Lila knows she can get to Red London. She's confident because she has the stone, and he feels like.
Yeah, but they're dodging his family.
Well,
They're
I
not
thought
going
he was
back
going to
his-
leave
no.
her.
He said because he's not going to say. I mean,
Oh.
he might try to abandon her in Red London,
No.
but he's going on through.
But Lucas,
Right.
you're right. He did say that Lila could go and tell Rye what
Yeah.
happened to him
Right,
after
because-
he goes to Black London.
Because he knows that if he goes, that the chance that one of the guards that's been,
When he doesn't want to say goodbye to his brother.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, Cheryl has a good point. Maybe Holland has done some mind memory stuff to
No,
Rye.
they did have that meeting.
Yeah. Well, and how often does Rye or Holland go visit Rye? We have no idea.
We don't know. But and that was,
Chris?
every once in a while we get a chapter not from the perspective of a main character. And that was one of them. We had the chapter from the guard that was
Parish,
outside of
maybe?
Parish,
Something like that.
from outside of Rye's room. And that was an interesting perspective because we got everything. And then unlike him, we remembered. He forgot everything.
Yeah.
We did not. Holland, your magic did not work on me.
I wonder what that.
Are you sure? What if there was another chapter and we don't remember it?
What are you talking about?
I want to go back. Someone else, you had thrown up someone else's comment. It might have been Jean who said that all sympathy for Holland was gone when he slit Baron's throat. Totally understood. Holland, super bad guy. That being said, the reason, and Adam and I've had this discussion separately about, I hate this. We had this discussion about, what's his face? Thanos.
Thanos.
The reason Thanos is such a great villain is because he's not clear-cut, black and white, a bad guy. There's that humanity side of him, the side of him that wants good things done for bad reasons or done wrongly. And same as Holland. Horrible things have happened to Holland. He has been tortured. He has been soul-bound to a psycho who has a twin psycho. So, really, really bad things have happened to this man. He is a very, very bad man who has had very bad things happen to him. So, I think he's a very interesting character because it's not clear-cut for me. I feel like, and right now, granted, I don't have all the information, but signs point to the fact that he's been tortured into the life that he is having to fulfill now.
Yeah.
Also remember though that Holland tried to take control of White London.
Yeah.
He tried to.
And he failed.
He lost to the twins.
Yeah.
But he wanted to rule White London.
Yeah. Also, Holland is a really interesting character, and I'm excited to read more about him. But also, he didn't have to kill Baron. He chose to do that.
Oh no, he's definitely a bad guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But he also knew that Baron had no idea where Kel and Lila were, and he decided to slit his throat anyways. So, not really a great guy.
But now we got this cat and mouse game going on.
We do, and we know Holland is perfectly able to follow them.
Anywhere, everywhere.
Someone posted if Holland had done magic on Kel and made him forget that not on Kel, on Rye, that Kel would have been able to smell it on him. And that's
Vicky,
actually
yeah.
a really good point. Yeah. So I think at least in this instance, yeah, he's probably safe. But we also don't know how long those smells last.
So
Yeah, I mean, one good old sweatness and maybe
Febreze.
it's gone. That's not a thing.
Martin's talking about, Holland trying to escape the twins. I don't think that anything, I mean, so like how much control does Holland have over his actions? Because like, yeah, this is a good point. Like, could he just escape from them? But like, and can the twins' power like reach him and be like, you must come back, and like
with the soul
I feel like
binding.
with I don't think he could just yeah.
So like
There's so many unanswered questions with Holland.
Or is none of his actions like, does he still, is he like that kid that does he still have his mind but his body doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, he clearly still has his mind because
My mind's telling me no.
They mention all the emotions in his eyes. They mention like a twitch of his mouth, like, and Athos clearly likes to get some sort of reaction from him. So I think Holland is still there mentally, but clearly he's attached also.
And in that same vein, they, no pun intended, they keep talking about how like his eyes are full of all these emotions and the hate and the rage and everything, but his face never shows any expression.
Yeah.
Matt, get out of here.
Fired.
No, I appreciate it. Do more.
So, I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously, we're being shown that Holland is a very, very, very bad guy. But as Lila pointed out, he tried to kill Kel, but he didn't really try to kill Kel.
Well, he did it in a way, he drew it out. And
yeah, like
is
gave him
because,
the chance for survival.
Is it because of that, or is it because he just really enjoys causing Kel pain? Maybe he just really hates Kel. But Lila really did make a good point there.
I will say, well, okay. That being said, the only time I started to feel iffy on Lila, she really, really, really annoyed me when she took the Black Rock and she would be in a turd and she like, it's like, I'm going to make a pirate sword. I'm going to make a Kel. And when she did that, I was like, oh man, I really wanted to root for this girl. And now she's annoying and I really don't like her. And you idiot, you made a Kel. And like, this is so stupid. But thankfully it got better. Yeah. But I was worried at first. I was like, oh no.
I felt the same like when she was like just messing around with the stone. She's like, oh, I can do this. I was like, give it back.
I know. This is too important, you idiot.
I don't know the power.
Yeah. But also there's no way she's just going to give it back for free. Like, she's a thief. She has goals in life. She wants to buy that pirate ship. Like, she needs money for that.
You can't buy a pirate ship with a rack.
Well, she can if she can get Kel to like pay for it.
Make the Black Pearl and then sail around with the skeletons.
Oh, Susan asked if Lila hadn't intercepted, would Kel have died? Eventually,
she hadn't like knocked Holland out.
Yeah, that was awesome. She totally took the iron rod to his face mid-sentence.
Yeah,
clunk. Thank goodness. What a horrible way to die.
Possible. I mean, like his blood, like his was just bleeding. Yeah, it was like horrible. It reminded me of that scene where in X-Men 2, where Magneto
with iron in your blood.
See,
I was just about to do that for you. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna make an X-Men reference. I'm gonna make a pirate sword. But that's exactly it. When it was Mystique, right? She stabbed the guard in the butt and injected him with iron.
Yeah, and then Magneto was like, too much.
Yeah, and then he like pulled all the blood out of him. Except that was only, well, no, he pulled the iron out. Not the
and then made little moving platforms with the iron, and then they turned into bullets, and he escaped.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was a cool scene.
Yeah.
And Cyclops got taken out for like 2/3 of the movie, and I was upset.
Oh, that was the good part. There it is. We covered your fandoms.
Hey, we did it. The end.
It's cute that you think this was the end.
It's not.
Oh yeah, Christy's just sitting here like, I know everything.
No, she's talking about his references.
Oh, I know.
Lila is a fun character, and I think the dynamic between Lila and Kel is an interesting one. She kissed him right before they went into the Red London, which is like, ooh, is there going to be romance? But
it wasn't gratuitous, which I appreciated, because that did not feel like the appropriate time and place to start inserting that into the story. And I was like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, and it was for luck.
Vicky, do you mean Lila or Kel?
Lila.
Okay.
Because remember, Lila steals books if she can find anything about pirates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kel was more like, he was like, she kissed me. And she was like, let's go through the wall. Like, she does not care.
And
Yeah.
it's like a happy, like, because I like to make comparisons. The Kel Lila dynamic is like a happy version of the Victor and what's her name in Vicious, the little girl.
Oh, I don't remember her name.
Like they're
Victor
not
Victoria.
Obviously, it wasn't like a romantic thing there, but like the sort of playful back and forth between the
Bird
two.
girl.
Bird girl.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Yeah. The other girl's
her name.
I'm
Bird
Ben.
girl. It's fine. Whatever.
But yeah, but you know, I like, and then of course the duality with Kel and Holland, Eli and Victor. I like, keep going back
Martin
to that.
says it's very Star Wars Luke and Leia for luck kiss. So are they
So
brother and sister?
I know, no, but I mean, that's my concern. That's what I mentioned earlier is we don't know their origin stories. We don't know why her eyeball looked like that. We don't know why she can sense magic. And when it happened, I was like, I didn't want there to be romance because I was like, oh God, what if they're related?
It didn't bother me as much as the last Star Wars movie.
We have
Let's not get into that because I will go on an epic rant. But yes, I will agree with Victoria. The kiss felt unnecessary.
it's probably
She's kind of flirty though. Like I feel like
I don't feel like she's flirty. Who's she flirting with?
she's a
She's
little
flirty
flirty.
With who?
With life in general, I
Yeah,
think.
But not
like
with
she's
people.
I mean, she
She can't stand that Baron has helped take care of her because she doesn't want to have that emotional connection to anybody.
I don't think it's an emotional connection. I think she just doesn't want to depend on anybody.
I wouldn't say flirty. I would say plucky.
Vivacious.
plucky.
She's plucky. Is that a
Real
good word?
plucky.
I mean, if you're from the 60s.
Fine.
Speaking of from the 60s, little side note, everybody. Did you know that tomorrow is Adam's birthday? He's turning 60.
From the
I was
60s.
wondering how you're
Yeah, I
talking
didn't know where you're going with that.
Yes. Adam was born in the 60s. And his
So for my
birthday,
birthday,
but for real, his birthday is tomorrow, though. So everyone tell Adam happy birthday tomorrow.
Should we
Not now,
sing?
just tomorrow.
We sing at the end.
No.
We have to sing
No.
at the end.
That's a good point.
Oh, he's cringing.
That's a good point.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the book.
yeah.
She'll murder you and then burn your boat down.
Yes, she has proven that.
That was a good scene.
Yeah.
To
I
be fair,
enjoyed that.
though, I'm glad that she murdered him and burnt the boat down. I was fine with that.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, Katie.
I said tomorrow.
I
It's too
liked
late.
this insight that it felt like she was doing it to throw him off. I love that. I think that's totally something that she would do.
I can
Keep
agree
him
with
guessing
that.
all the time.
And I appreciate that he is so thrown off by her because in other areas he seems to have everything together. Like he is in control. He is the guy with the magic. He is the messenger. You know, even in the scene with the twins when they're like cutting Holland open or making Holland cut himself open, they're like, "You want some?" And he's like, "You know what? I'm good. I'm just gonna eat a regular."
That being
thing.
said,
And then he got really drunk with them. Why would you do that?
He's so stupid. That being said, something about him is still very young and novice because, like, we're aware, yes, he has access to this incredibly powerful blood magic. But also, look, Holland kicked his butt so easily, so fast. So just because he's an Antari does not mean he's a master of what he is capable of. Like, also, he did get drunk. Dum-dum.
They even said Kel was young. They said he was just a few years
He was
older
like
than
20
Lila.
or right?
Yeah.
20 or 21.
Something
We
like
don't
that.
know for sure. They just guessed.
And
Yeah.
I thought they explained why he got drunk. He felt terribly guilty that he didn't do more to protect Holland and to like stand up for him. And I think he was just drowning that guilt.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do? Those guys are obviously so powerful that like
Yeah, but I would still be, I don't know, if you're in a super, super scary place with super scary people, would you not want to be in control of
Yeah,
of
I was
yourself?
surprised that he took any more or didn't like just pour it out.
And that's cool. Yeah, I mean, Julie, that's a good point.
Yeah. I don't think I could trust them.
I will say, while they are capable of that, I don't think they did. They could have, but I mean, yeah, he drank some of it before Athos or assholes, whatever his name is. But he drank some of it first. But I really do think Kel was just like, I'm nervous. I'm a mess. All of this is terrible. I'm just drinking too fast and I'm young. Whoops. Like, I think it just was an unfortunate situation.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, but still.
But yeah, they totally could have poisoned him. Dumb.
Don't let your guard down with the evil twins of White London. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna give you a piece of advice, Kel. Next time
Especially
you
when
go
the
back-
girl is like, I want to keep him.
Yeah. He's like, nah.
I
no.
could totally see them like containing him and doing a whole bunch of stuff on him, like the scars and the tattoos, and then like making him do their bidding, kind of. I could totally see them stealing Kel.
This is interesting. His desire to smuggle things and like, you know, again, like we're talking about how sort of together is, but he breaks the rules like almost every time, and Rye gets really mad at him for it.
Yeah.
And repeatedly, apparently.
Do you see, he and Lila both have that moment where they talk to themselves and they acknowledge that they know they're doing something wrong. They have this weird urge that they can't control, and they know that they have like that potentially self-destructive urge, and they do it anyways. Remember in the very beginning, like with the constable, and she's like, she can't stop pushing it. You know, she lights his cigar for him, and she's like,
Yeah.
you know, she's got like this adrenaline junkie thing going, and she's like, you know, Baron always tells me like I push it too far, but she can't seem to stop herself. Just like Kel can't seem to stop himself from smuggling and doing these things, even though he knows it's against the law and that it's dangerous. But they keep pushing it, and they both keep doing these things anyways.
Yeah. Well, and going back to Lila, I love that she does all of her thieving dressed as a man. That's so smart.
And she's wanted it. They're like, that guy. And then they finally found her. They were like, wait.
Well, but also, how has she survived so long? Because she went back for Kel, which seems out of character. And she admitted it was out of character. But then she like went after those 3 street rats that mugged the begging kid. And that seems out of character also.
Well, she did know. She was like, there's no way she could take on 3, but she figured she would just pick one and she'd be able to get that one kid, and then they tricked her. But
they ganged up on her. But yeah, it was like her act of like sort of selflessness in that moment was interesting.
Yeah.
It was a sort of a glimpse into her character, and that she does have just, you know, she's a good person. She just likes to steal from people. That's not one of the commandments, is it? It is.
I mean, she acknowledges she's stealing from rich people. She's not stealing from poor people.
Yeah, she's Robin Hood.
She's Robin
Except she
Hood.
doesn't give it to other people. She keeps it.
She just takes it.
She wants it. She wants a boat.
You think she would have not have such a hard time like making ends meet? She talks about like, you know, scraping by, but it seems like she's getting pocket watches and magical stones.
She's not. She only had one, and then she gave it away, and now Holland was funneling it. I don't like that. I'm worried that he can use that to get to her.
I think also when she was on the boat, I think she was having to give a huge percentage of her cut to that dude for her stay.
Rapist guy.
And then she also has an issue with, she feels very compelled to pay off all her debts and not take anything for free. And
her code is admirable.
yeah, it's really interesting.
And she talks about that. Like, it's
like
so hard to get ahead because everything that she steals goes back to paying for whatever, like everything that she doesn't feel like it's okay to steal. Like,
Yeah.
it's an interesting balance.
She just wants a boat so she could be a pirate.
Yeah, she's kind of
She's-
chaotic neutral. It's all good.
Well, Vicky says if she's such a good thief, why didn't she steal a boat?
I don't think she knows how to actually use a boat. I think she just really wants one. But watch, she like probably doesn't know. She's gonna get on there and be like,
Yeah.
hoist the mainsail.
That would be one evil boat, Vicky.
Yeah. Well, and also she mentioned beforehand, before she can become a pirate, she has to have a sword. So I think she did take a step in that direction.
Yeah.
That sword
That's why
just
she got the sword.
turning into an evil person.
Well, yeah, I mean, it didn't turn out great, but she had reasons. One of the things that I want to talk about is the nature of magic in this book. I know we kind of talked about like how it works, but how the different cities handle it. Because it said like Red London, their whole motto is power in balance, and White London, it's power in dominance. And Holland even said like the reason Kell is weaker than him is because Kell feels like he's equal with the magic, or magic's equal with him. And in White London, like you have to control everything. But it's more than that too. It's how magic exists in those worlds. Because in Red London, it's everywhere and most people can use it. But in White London, because they're trying to dominate it, the book said that magic's like burrowing deep into the ground and like trying to like get away. And that's just the fact that magic has
binding it to themselves.
Personality is just crazy to me.
There's like it's like a precious commodity in White London, and people are trying to like hog it and like attach themselves to it, and like I have more than you, and that's because it's the mirror universe, Star Trek, where everybody's stabbing each other in the back. And you got to kill somebody to be the captain.
And then in the gray London, it doesn't exist. Like you're broken up into two groups of people that even acknowledge it in any way. There are people that think it's cool and just want to collect items. And then there are like the crazy kids who can't actually manage the magic, but they want to desperately. And they're like almost like nerdy little cultists, which by the way, I wonder if that nerdy little one who like wanted the thing, that first encounter in the tavern, I wonder if he's going to come back into play. Because he was like, hey, go find something, that actually I would want. I don't want money. So he's like, find something that you would give for this, and I'll bring you a piece of earth. So I wonder if that kid.
He wanted a bit of earth.
Yeah, so that's really interesting. But also in Grey London, there are like it's echoes of magic a little bit, because you still have the tavern, which people are drawn to, and clearly that's like a staple in all of the Londons.
Yeah. So you use magic there. It just got kind of cut off.
Yeah. I guess the source is really, really weak, maybe.
Because it's far away from the sun, the magic sun.
I love all the people right now. They're just chatting about like being a bad pirate.
We're writing fanfiction right now in the comment section. The comment section is like...
It's Pirates of the Caribbean, which I'm loving.
It's the side story of Lila being a bad pirate.
You are without a doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of. And Lila says, but you have heard of me.
Guybrush Threepwood is the worst pirate ever.
Oh.
What?
Guybrush Threepwood from Monkey Island.
It's
a video game.
It's an old.
It is a classic.
Never
classic is a nice way of saying old.
Okay, so
I'm not wrong. Like it's an old computer game.
On that,
it's like a point and click
adventure game. It is full of brimming it with.
Did I say that it was crappy? I just said it was old.
You should play
just like this book, which is brimming with adventure. Speaking of this book, we've got just a couple minutes left till we hit the hour mark. Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I can't wait to read some more.
Yeah, I think Christy, your knack as of I would say all the time of picking a cliffhanger part. I'd say like most of the places where we end, and if it's pure dumb luck, congrats, you're doing a great job.
It is.
I'm super excited. I did kind of drag my heels just getting into this. I finished it this afternoon, but I'm really looking forward to what. Adam, you're turning classic. That's right. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Julie's not sleeping. She's ready.
Read that book.
Caffeinated, ready to go.
Okay, I have a question. Talia, are you going to be able to stop at the end of this book?
Do you have the other ones already?
Or the next live discussion? Like, are you going to be able to stop at the end of this book before the next live discussion?
Oh.
Do I have to?
She already has the other ones on the shelf right there.
If you want to not be spoiler person.
Excuse me. I always stop at the midway point for the first discussion. And then I always read the rest of the series before the second discussion. And I have not spoiled anything for anybody. The trick is I only drink during the first live discussion and I stay sober for the second.
Smart. Very smart. Well, I'm really glad most of you seem to be enjoying this book.
Yeah, I think the feedback in the group has been resoundingly positive.
Yeah, Kathy says she can finish it tonight, but then she'll forget everything. Anthony loves it.
Nice.
But even if you didn't, that's okay. That makes the conversation more interesting. Once again, there are only 2 rules in this book club, and it is be nice to the other book club members and don't spoil things for people. That's literally it. The rule is never that you have to love everything that we read. And quite often, I feel like our most interesting discussions are when we're all kind of torn about it.
And I will say, if you're just finding us, go join the Literarily.
That's just what my face was like.
Go join the Literarily Wasted Lounge. We have never moderated any of that group, and it is amazing. You guys are so fantastic, and it's.
I was about to say you need to be more specific. We've never had to moderate.
Yeah, like
we do moderate. We read everything.
Yeah, we read everything,
but we've never had to call anybody out because y'all are wonderful. Thank you. Please continue to stay wonderful.
Dan, it's gonna be tough to dethrone Wool for me personally, just because I do gravitate more towards the sci-fi than like a fantasy. So if I have like a magic versus tech, I'm gonna go to tech.
That being said, I think I could solidify Wool up there for quite a while if you would finish the Ding Dang trilogy.
Yeah, Ding Dang.
Ding Dang.
Mike, don't tell Lev Grossman, but stop reading Magicians when you got into this book. So yeah.
Are you going to pick it back up? Because the third Magician's book is worth completing the whole trilogy, in my opinion.
So everybody, Lisa's having a hard time. Spoilers.
But at least you were here, so that's okay. Sometimes, honestly, being part of the discussion, we don't get this option. But I imagine I would just love to read everybody's thoughts and actually have the time to see every single thing that people are saying. You don't always have to interject unless something's itching to get out. But just being here, being part of the community, that means a lot to us. So thank you.
Did we do everybody's final thoughts?
What's your final thought, Adam?
My final thought. I'm into it. I'm really liking this book. I feel like Wool and Vicious were up there with some of my favorites. Kill the Farm Boy has a special place in my heart because of all the poop
jokes.
This one, it's been a while, and I've had some moments here and there with some of the books, but this book grabbed me and
after a couple of chapters.
Sometimes I read at night.
We got the White London. Yes.
When I can't sleep in the middle of the night, I'll read, and usually that'll put me to sleep. But with this book, I picked it up at 2 a.m. and I'm I'm just gonna read a chapter and it'll make me drowsy. And then I'm into it. Leigh Ann.
Your whole day was ruined.
So,
nice.
But Leigh Ann read the whole trilogy.
That's true. Already.
So
in true overachievement, that's awesome.
Katie's got the whole trilogy for next month's book too. So, which we just love picking trilogies here at Literarily Wasted. So,
okay, to be fair,
gateway drugs into just more reading.
Let me say 2 things.
September won't be a trilogy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, wait until the fall. But also, sorry. Well, just to point out, because I know we get a lot of jokes, make a stink over it, but Christy puts a ton of time and research into choosing books, and I hope she doesn't mind me speaking for her, but I know for a fact that she's tried really hard to make things easy for people. But here's the thing. Science fiction and fantasy authors don't like to stop at one. It is really, really hard to find standalone novels in these 2 genres. So she does try. She's got an Excel spreadsheet bigger than me.
It's massive.
And it's full of most of your suggestions too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she pulls from all of the things that y'all are putting into the group, but it is really, really hard to find.
This is your catchphrase, Talia.
It's sorry. So that is one thing, but also on the other end of that, is there really such a thing as too much of a good thing?
That's a really good question.
Oh no, this book is so good. Oh no, there's 2 more.
Well, and look, as somebody
I'm okay with it.
that I wouldn't have read any of this stuff had I not been in this group. So yeah, it's. Have I read Shift yet in Wool? No, but like I really want to. I did start progressing into the Red Rising, the second book of the Red Rising, and it's even better than the first one. Like so I know that one day when I'm in a retirement home and I'll be like, oh, I can finally get to Shift now.
I can't wait that long.
Well, when we have the 50th anniversary of Literarily Wasted, we can close the book unintended and pass it off to someone.
I'm like Lila. I'm going to clock you in the head with a book. Be like,
this is June. This is the first month in our second year of Literarily Wasted.
Yeah,
some of y'all have been with us the whole time.
And if you have friends, share Literarily Wasted and all the love and the book fun that we have.
We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook, obviously, right now. And but we also have the group, the Literarily Wasted Lounge, and that's where all of y'all, super awesome, talk about all the books all the time, not just this one. You can pretty much guaranteed find someone in the group who's going to want to talk about whatever other book it is that you're reading, and that's super exciting.
Yeah.
Yay, Katie!
And if you are finding us late, if you're finding us on a podcast or a video on demand, you can go to our website too, literarily-wasted.club. That will take you.
Because it's a book club.
Because it's a book club, and you can look back at the 2019 and 2020 seasons, see what didn't win, because there's like Tally said, Christy doesn't pick bad books, so there's a lot of stuff. If you're
except for Interview with the Vampire, but we don't have to talk about it.
No.
I've totally picked bad books.
No, they don't know. They don't need to know that. But you can look back at see what didn't win also. And if you need to find kind of a hub for all that stuff, that's the easiest place to find.
Also, we do have, if one of the books that didn't win, you're like, oh man, that would have been a good one. We might do, we'll do some second chance polls. We've already had one, so we might do a third chance poll sometime.
Yeah, because we'll be like, y'all didn't pick this book, and we really want to read it.
Yeah, 1 month it's just gonna be like, we're reading Old Man's War, okay? No voting.
So just a reminder, this was the first discussion. Our next discussion, where we will talk about the second half of the book and the whole ding-dang thing, is in 2 weeks. And since it's a final discussion, we'll also have a mostly mystery box giveaway, which lately has not been a box, but has been a digital gift card. So you can shop online at booksamillion.com. They've been allowing us to give away a $100 gift card every single month. And all you have to do is show up for that conversation. So super thanks a whole lot to Books A Million, Second and Charles for always helping us have really cool things to give away, for helping us give discounts on the books if you want to go get it from there. You should actually still be able to go get it from Second and Charles or Books A Million by telling them you're in our book club, and you can get 20% off the book. So
is the code magic right now?
I believe it is. So magic. Thank you so much to them for helping us out with that. Super cool.
Yeah, and that about wraps it up.
Ooh, wait, what?
The blind pick. Okay. Pick your favorite.
Oh.
Yeah. They're the catch is that they're all Old Man's War.
Okay, we can do that. Can we please do that in June of 2021 for Adam's birthday?
I think that's hilarious.
That is the book for June 2021. You don't get to vote that month. Or you get to vote. It's either Old Man's War, or Old Man's War in June.
March will be Ready Player One, so there you go.
March is going to be the second book of the Wool trilogy. That's what that's going to be.
That about wraps it up for us.
Yep. Yeah.
So awesome discussion as always. Thank you all so much for tuning in and dealing with my fandom references.
And
what's the date for discussion number 2? June what?
June something.
24? We should know that.
The 24th.
Yeah, I had it right.
So it's
June 24th.
2 weeks from
so
today.
You got some time to finish this book and whatever other books you want to read. And thanks for tuning in. We'll be in touch.
Bye, everybody. Be safe. Miss you. Love you.
Keep washing your hands.
Bye, everybody.